On a quiet Tuesday morning at the Grand Palladium Hotel, Zara Williams was just trying to clean windows and stay invisible. She had been hiding her true identity for 10 long years, working 3 jobs to survive while keeping the most dangerous secret in the world locked away in her brilliant mind. But when her phone rang with a call from Moscow Hospital, everything changed in 30 seconds. A millionaire named Viktor Petrov watched in shock as this hotel cleaner answered in perfect Russian, using medical words that only top scientists would know. He had no idea he was looking at Dr. Zara Volkov, the missing nuclear physicist his company had been hunting for 3 years. What Viktor didn't know was that the phone call wasn't about a sick patient. It was a warning that the people who tried to kill Zara 10 years ago had found her trail and were coming to finish what they started. And what neither of them knew was that Zara had been hiding something even more precious than her scientific research, a 16-year-old daughter with abilities that could either save humanity or destroy it. Will Zara's secret daughter become the key to humanity's survival among the stars? Or will her powers fall into the hands of those who would use them to build weapons that could destroy entire worlds? And when Zara is forced to choose between protecting her child and saving thousands of imprisoned scientists around the globe, which will she sacrifice? Her family or her conscience? Zara Williams pushed her heavy cleaning cart down the shiny marble hallway of the Grand Palladium Hotel. The wheels squeaked softly as she moved past golden mirrors and fancy paintings. Her hands were rough and red from years of scrubbing toilets and washing floors. But her brown eyes still sparkled with hope, even after 10 long years of hiding who she really was. At 34, Zara worked 3 different jobs every day. She cleaned hotel rooms from 6 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Then she rushed to her second job at a grocery store until 8 at night. After that, she went to night school, studying English and business. She barely slept 4 hours each night. But she did it all for 2 people she loved more than life itself: her sick mother, who needed expensive medicine every month, and her daughter Maya, who lived far away and didn't even know Zara was still alive. The elevator at the end of the hall made a soft ding sound. The golden doors opened, and out stepped a tall man in a perfect black suit. His shoes were so shiny, they looked like mirrors. His watch probably cost more than Zara made in a whole year. This was Viktor Petrov, though Zara didn't know his name yet. She only knew he was one of those rich guests who usually looked right through her, like she was invisible. Viktor owned a space technology company and had millions of dollars. He was at the hotel for a secret meeting about building rockets that could fly to Mars. Viktor looked tired and worried as he walked down the hall. His grandmother was dying in a hospital far away in Russia, and he felt guilty for not being there with her. He was thinking about family and love and all the things money couldn't buy. Zara was cleaning a spot on the wall when her phone started ringing loudly. The sound echoed through the quiet hallway like a fire alarm. Her heart jumped into her throat. Hotel guests hated noise, and she could lose her job if someone complained. She fumbled for her phone with wet, soapy hands. When she saw the name on the screen, her blood turned cold. Moscow Hospital, it said in small letters. Fear grabbed her chest like icy fingers. There was only one reason the hospital would call her. Something terrible had happened. Zdravstvuyte, she answered in perfect Russian, her voice shaking like a leaf in the wind. Da, я понимаю. Kogda eto sluchilos? Skажите мне pravdu. Hello. Yes, I understand. When did this happen? Tell me the truth. Victor stopped walking. He froze in the middle of the hallway like someone had turned him into a statue. This hotel cleaner was speaking Russian like she had grown up in Moscow. But more than that, she was using medical words that he recognized. His own grandmother was in Moscow Hospital, in the cancer ward on the 7th floor. Zara listened to the voice on the phone, and tears started rolling down her cheeks. Net, pожалуйста. Net, что я могу сделать? Я так далеко. No, please, no. What can I do? I'm so far away. Victor watched this woman's heart breaking right in front of him. He knew that kind of pain. He felt it every day, knowing his grandmother was dying while he built his business empire instead of holding her hand. When Zara finally hung up the phone, she was crying so hard she could barely breathe. She leaned against her cleaning cart and covered her face with her hands. Victor walked toward her slowly, like he was approaching a scared animal. "Excuse me," he said, in a gentle voice. "I couldn't help but hear you speaking Russian. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help?" Zara looked up at him with red, swollen eyes. She was surprised. Rich people never talked to her, especially not when she was crying. They usually just walked past, like she didn't exist. She started to say, then stopped. She couldn't tell him the truth. The phone call wasn't really about a sick friend like she wanted him to think. Dr. Anya Volkov had called with terrible news about people who were looking for Zara. People who wanted to hurt her and everyone she loved. "My friend works at Moscow Hospital," she lied, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. She was calling about new treatments for sick people. Victor's eyes got wide with surprise. "My grandmother is in Moscow Hospital too. Room 247, in the cancer ward. Maybe your friend knows her?" Zara felt like the world was spinning around her. What were the chances? This rich stranger's grandmother was in the same hospital where her old friend worked. The same hospital where dangerous people were asking questions about Dr. Zara Volkov, the scientist who had disappeared 10 years ago. I hope your grandmother gets better," Zara whispered. Victor looked at her face more carefully. "You speak Russian like you were born there. That's very unusual for a hotel cleaner?" Zara finished his sentence, feeling anger rise up in her chest like hot water. "I know 4 languages and have a PhD in nuclear physics from Moscow State University. But smart degrees don't pay for medicine or food. Sometimes you have to clean toilets to survive." Victor's mouth fell open. This woman cleaning floors was smarter than most of the scientists who worked for him. She could probably build rockets to Mars better than his whole team. Just then, Victor's phone buzzed with a text message. When he looked at the screen, his face turned white as paper. The message was from his business partner, and it contained a name that made his heart race: Dr. Zara Volkov. Under the name was a photo of a woman in a white lab coat, standing in front of a complicated machine. The woman in the photo looked exactly like the hotel cleaner standing in front of him, just 10 years younger. Victor looked from his phone to Zara's face, then back to his phone again. The woman he had been searching for 3 whole years was, right here, pushing a cleaning cart and crying about AI phone call from Moscow. But he didn't know the most dangerous secret of all. The phone call Zara had received wasn't about medical treatments or sick friends. Dr. Anya Volkov had called to warn her that the people who tried to kill her 10 years ago had found her trail. They knew she was in America. They knew she was alive. And they were coming for her. Victor pulled a clean white handkerchief from his jacket pocket. It was made of expensive silk and had his initials sewn in gold thread. He offered it to Zara with a gentle smile. "Please," he said softly, "you look like you need this more than I do." Zara stared at the handkerchief like it was made of diamonds. In her 10 years of cleaning hotels, no rich guest had ever offered her anything except complaints and dirty looks. They usually acted like she was invisible, or worse, like she was something dirty they didn't want to touch. I can't take that," she whispered. "It's too nice. I'll ruin it with my tears." "Tears wash out," Victor said with a sad smile. "Trust me, I know. My grandmother taught me that when I was little." Zara took the handkerchief carefully, like it might break in her rough hands. The silk felt softer than anything she had touched in years. She wiped her eyes and tried to stop crying. "My grandmother is in Moscow hospital too," Victor said quietly. "Room 247, on the cancer ward. The doctors say she doesn't have much time left. I feel terrible because I'm here building my business instead of holding her hand." Zara's eyes got wide with shock. Room 247 was right next to where Dr. Anya Volkov worked. Her old friend walked past that room every single day. What were the chances that this stranger's grandmother was so close to the one person who could help Zara disappear again? My friend, Dr. Volkov, works on that floor," Zara said carefully. "She takes care of the sickest patients. She's very good at helping people feel less pain." This was partly true, but mostly a lie. Dr. Anya Volkov was Zara's cousin and best friend from childhood. They had grown up together, studied together, and worked together until everything went wrong. Anya was the only person left in Russia who knew that Zara Williams was really Dr. Zara Volkov, the missing scientist. But Zara couldn't tell Victor the whole truth. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Victor studied her face like he was trying to solve a puzzle. "You speak Russian like you grew up in Moscow. Your accent is perfect. That's very unusual for a hotel worker in America." "For a hotel cleaner, you mean?" Zara said, feeling her pride rise up like fire in her chest. "You can say it. I know what I look like to you people." Victor's face turned red with embarrassment. "I didn't mean it that way. I just meant—" "You meant exactly what you said," Zara interrupted. "Rich people always think poor people are stupid. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Expensive Suit. I have a PhD in nuclear physics from Moscow State University. I can speak Russian, English, German, and French. I can build the machines that create energy from atoms. I understand math that would make your head spin." Victor's mouth fell open in shock. "Then why are you cleaning toilets?" Zara finished bitterly. "Because sometimes the world doesn't want what you have to offer. Sometimes you have to hide who you really are just to stay alive. Sometimes being smart makes you more dangerous than being stupid." She grabbed her cleaning cart and started to push it away. But Victor stepped in front of her. "Wait," he said urgently. "Please don't go. I think we can help each other." "Help each other?" Zara laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "What could you possibly need from someone like me?" "I need someone brilliant," Victor said honestly. "Someone who understands nuclear physics and space technology. Someone who can help me build better rockets. My company is falling behind, and I need new ideas." Zara stopped pushing her cart. "What kind of company?" "Stellar Dynamics. We build spacecraft and satellites. We're trying to compete with SpaceX and Blue Origin, but we need breakthrough technology, something that hasn't been invented yet." For just a moment, Zara's eyes lit up with excitement. Space travel had always been her dream. Even as a little girl in Moscow, she had looked up at the stars and imagined flying to other planets. Her research had been designed to power ships that could travel to Mars and beyond. But then, reality crashed back down on her like cold water. "I can't help you," she said quietly. "You don't understand the danger. The people I ran away from, they killed my research partner. They'll kill anyone who gets close to my work." "What kind of people?" Victor asked. "The kind who turn beautiful science into ugly weapons," Zara said. "The kind who don't care if they destroy the world as long as they make money doing it." Victor was quiet for a long moment. He thought about his own problems with dangerous people. Russian criminals had invested money in his company, and they were getting impatient. They wanted results, and they didn't care how they got them. If Victor couldn't deliver new technology soon, they would find someone who could. Or worse, they would eliminate the problem entirely. "I understand more than you think," Victor said, softly. "I have my own dangerous people to worry about, but maybe, together, we can be stronger than we are alone." Zara wanted to believe him. She was so tired of being afraid all the time, tired of hiding her intelligence, tired of pretending to be someone she wasn't. But fear had kept her alive for 10 years, and it was hard to let go of it now. "I need to think about it," she said finally. "Of course, but don't think too long. Sometimes opportunities don't wait for us to be ready." Victor pulled out his business card and wrote something on the back. "This is my private number. Call me when you decide, day or night." As Zara took the card, Victor's phone buzzed again. Another text message from his business partner. This one made his blood freeze in his veins. "The Volkov woman you're looking for is closer than you think. Check the hotel security cameras from today. You'll find her on the 7th floor, pushing a cleaning cart." Victor looked at his phone, then at Zara, then back at his phone. His heart was beating so fast, he thought it might explode. For 3 years, he had been searching for the brilliant scientist who had disappeared with research worth billions of dollars. His space company desperately needed her fusion technology to compete with Elon Musk's SpaceX. And she had been right in front of him the whole time, crying about a phone call and cleaning windows for minimum wage. But Victor didn't know the most terrifying part of the story. The phone call from Moscow hadn't been about sick patients or new treatments. Dr. Anya Volkov had called to deliver a warning that would change everything. "Zara, they know you're alive. They know you're in America. The Kozlov organization has been asking questions about you here at the hospital. They showed me your photo and offered money for information. I told them nothing, but someone else might talk. You need to run again. Tonight, before they find you." As Zara walked away with Victor's business card in her pocket, she had no idea that the man she had just met was connected to the very people who wanted to capture her. And Victor had no idea that the woman he had been hunting was about to disappear forever. The dangerous game of cat and mouse was about to begin, and neither of them knew who was the hunter and who was the prey. Victor stood alone in the hotel hallway, staring at his phone screen. The text message from his business partner felt like a punch to the stomach. The photo showed a younger Zara in a white lab coat, standing next to a machine that looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie. "Dr. Zara Volkov," he whispered to himself. "The woman I've been hunting for 3 years was just crying in front of me." For 3 long years, Victor had spent millions of dollars searching for the missing Russian scientist. Private investigators had looked all over Europe and America. Computer experts had tried to find any trace of her online. His company, Stellar Dynamics, desperately needed her fusion technology to build rockets that could compete with SpaceX and Blue Origin. Victor's rockets were good, but they weren't special. Elon Musk's SpaceX was already planning trips to Mars. Jeff Bezos was building space hotels. Victor needed something revolutionary to catch up. Dr. Volkov's research could change everything. Her fusion engines could power ships to the stars. But now she was here, in his hotel, pushing a cleaning cart and hiding behind a fake name. The brilliant scientist who could save his company was scrubbing toilets for $8 an hour. Victor walked back to his hotel room with his mind spinning like a tornado. He sat on his expensive leather couch and stared out the window at the city lights below. He had to be very careful about what he did next. One wrong move, and Zara would disappear again. Maybe forever this time. He picked up his phone and called his business partner, Dmitry Kozlov, in Russia. "You found her." Dmitry's voice was cold and sharp like broken glass. "The Volkov woman. Where? Has she been hiding?" "She's working as a hotel cleaner in America," Victor said. "She's been hiding in plain sight." "Perfect. Bring her to Russia immediately. Our investors are getting impatient. They want her fusion technology, and they want it now." Victor felt sick to his stomach. He knew what investors meant. Russian criminals had put money into Stellar Dynamics, and they expected results. If Victor couldn't deliver Dr. Volkov's research, they would find other ways to get what they wanted. Violent ways. "I need more time," Victor said. "She doesn't trust me yet. If I move too fast, she'll run again." "You have 1 week," Dmitry said. "Get her research, or we'll handle this ourselves. And Victor? Don't get soft. This is business, not charity." The phone went dead. Victor threw it across the room, and it bounced off the wall onto the carpet. He was trapped between saving his company and protecting a woman who didn't even know she was in danger. That night, Victor couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Zara's tears and her proud words about having a PhD. She wasn't just a scientist to him anymore. She was a real person with real pain, working 3 jobs to survive. The next morning, Victor made a decision that would change both their lives forever. He called Zara's hotel and asked to speak with her. "Zara Williams?" the manager said. "She's cleaning the pool area. Hold on." A few minutes later, Zara's nervous voice came on the phone. "Hello? This is Zara. It's Viktor Petrov from yesterday, the man with the grandmother in Moscow hospital. I have a proposal for you. Can you meet me for coffee this morning? I think we can help each other in ways you haven't imagined." Zara was quiet for so long that Victor thought she had hung up. Finally, she spoke. "I don't know if that's a good idea. I told you yesterday, I'm not the person you think I am." "I know exactly who you are, Dr. Volkov," Victor said gently. "And I know you're in more danger than you realize." Zara's blood turned to ice water. How did he know her real name? Had she made a terrible mistake trusting him? "I don't know what you're talking about," she whispered. "Meet me at the Blue Moon Cafe on 5th Street at 10 o'clock, Victor said. "Come alone. I'll explain everything, and then you can decide if you want my help or if you want to keep running for Eve the rest of your life." Zara hung up the phone with shaking hands. Her worst nightmare was coming true. Someone had discovered her secret identity. But maybe, just maybe, this was also her chance to stop running and start fighting back. That morning, Zara took a long shower and put on her only good dress, a simple blue one she had bought at a thrift store 2 years ago. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. When had she become so thin? When had those worry lines appeared around her eyes? She walked to the Blue Moon Cafe with her heart pounding like drums in her chest. Victor was already there, sitting at a corner table with 2 coffee cups waiting. He looked tired and worried, like he hadn't slept either. "Thank you for coming," he said as she sat down. "I know you're scared. You should be." Victor slid a thick folder across the table. Zara opened it with trembling fingers and gasped. Inside were photos of her from 10 years ago, newspaper articles about her disappearance, and official documents with her real name. "Dr. Zara Volkov," Victor said quietly, "former head researcher at the Kozlov Institute in Moscow. Disappeared in 2015 after refusing to let your fusion technology be turned into weapons. The Russian government declared you dead, but you just changed your name and started a new life in Stereotypes, America." Zara felt like the walls were closing in around her. "How long have you known?" "I suspected yesterday when I heard you speaking Russian. I knew for sure when my business partner sent me your photo last night. I've been looking for you for 3 years, Dr. Volkov. Your research could revolutionize space travel. It could help humanity reach the stars. Or it could help people build bombs that destroy cities," Zara said bitterly. "That's why I ran. That's why I'd rather clean toilets than be a scientist." "I don't want weapons," Victor said urgently. "I want to take people to Mars. I want to give humanity a second home among the stars. Your fusion engines could power ships to other planets. We could explore the galaxy instead of destroying our own world." Zara wanted to believe him. She had dreamed of space travel since she was a little girl, but she had been betrayed before by people who promised to use her work for good. "Even if I wanted to help you," she said, "it's too late. The people who wanted to kill me 10 years ago are still looking. Your business partner, Dmitry Kozlov, he's one of them, isn't he?" Victor's face turned pale. "How do you know about Dmitry?" "Because the Kozlov Institute was named after his family. They funded my research until I refused to weaponize it. Then they tried to have me killed." Victor felt like he was going to be sick. His business partner was connected to the people who had tried to murder Zara. He was working with her enemies without even knowing it. "We're both in trouble," Victor said quietly. "Dmitry's investors want your technology. If I don't deliver it, they'll come after both of us." Zara reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. Inside were photos that Victor had never seen before, pictures of her medical bills, her mother's hospital records, and documents, showing how much money she owed. "My mother needs surgery that costs $80,000, Zara said. "I have student loans that will take me 30 years to pay off. I work 3 jobs and I still can't afford groceries some weeks. Even if I wanted to help you, I can't think about science when I'm worried about survival." Victor looked at the UC medical bills, and felt his heart break. This brilliant woman was wasting her genius scrubbing floors because she couldn't afford to be a scientist. He made a decision that would change everything. Victor pulled out his phone and made a call. "This is Victor Petrov. I want to pay a medical bill at St. Mary's Hospital. The patient is Zara Williams. Yes, I'll pay the full amount right now." Zara stared at him in shock. "What are you doing?" "I'm investing in the future," Victor said. "Your mother's surgery is paid for. Your student loans will be paid off by tomorrow. And I'm offering you something else, equal partnership in my company. Not as my employee, but as my partner. 50-50 ownership. Use your real name. Again, be the scientist you were born to be." Tears started rolling down Zara's face. No one had shown her this kind of kindness in 10 years. But she was still scared. "What about the people who want to kill us?" she whispered. "Then we make sure they can't," Victor said firmly. "I have resources, security, money, connections. Together we can be stronger than we are apart." Zara looked around the cafe at all the normal people drinking coffee and reading newspapers. They had no idea that two people at the corner table were planning to change the future of human space travel. "I need time to think," she said finally. "Take all the time you need," Victor replied. "But remember, sometimes the biggest risk is not taking any risks at all." As Zara walked back to the hotel, she felt hope and terror fighting a war in her chest. For the first time in 10 years, someone believed in her enough to invest in her dreams. But she also knew that accepting Victor's offer would put both of them in deadly danger. What she didn't know was that Victor's phone was already buzzing with angry text messages from Dmitry Kozlov. Someone had been watching the cafe. Someone had taken photos of their meeting. And someone was very unhappy that Victor was making deals behind their back. The dangerous game was accelerating, and the stakes were about to get much higher. Victor's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Text message after text message flooded his screen as he walked back to his hotel room. Each one made his stomach feel sicker than the last. "You were supposed to capture her, not buy her coffee. Our investors are not happy with your romantic games. You have 24 hours to deliver the woman, or we deliver you to the bottom of the ocean." Victor threw his phone on the bed and ran his hands through his hair. He had made a terrible mistake. By helping Zara instead of kidnapping her, he had turned himself into a target. Dimitri's. Criminal investors didn't care about space travel or scientific breakthroughs. They only cared about weapons and money. Meanwhile, Zara sat in her tiny apartment, staring at her phone. The hospital had called to confirm that her mother's surgery was completely paid for. $80,000. Gone in one phone call. She had never met anyone with that kind of money, that kind of power to change, lives with a single decision. But power always came with a price. Zara had learned that lesson the hard way 10 years ago. She called her mother at the hospital. "Mama, how are you feeling?" "Much better, little star," her mother said in Russian. Her voice was weak but happy. "The doctors say my surgery is tomorrow morning. They say someone paid for everything. Was that you?" "A friend helped us," Zara said carefully. She couldn't explain about Victor without explaining everything else. "Be careful with rich friends," her mother warned. "They always want something in return, and sometimes what they want costs more than money." After hanging up, Zara made another phone call. This one went to Moscow, to the hospital, where Dr. Anya Volkov worked. Anya, it's me, Zara whispered when her cousin answered. Zara, thank God you called. Things are getting worse here. Yesterday, 3 men in expensive suits came to the hospital. They were asking questions about you. They knew your real name. They knew you were alive. What did you tell them? Nothing. But they offered money to anyone with information. $50,000, Zara. Some people here are very poor. Someone might talk. Zara felt cold fear creep up her spine like ice water. Did they say who they worked for? One of them had a business card. Stellar Dynamics, an American space company. Zara's heart stopped beating for a full second. Stellar Dynamics was Victor's company. The man who had just paid for her mother's surgery was working with the same people who wanted to kill her. Anya, I need you to listen very carefully, Zara said. I'm going to disappear again. Don't try to contact me. If anyone asks about me, you never heard this phone call. Do you understand? Zara, wait! Zara hung up the phone and started packing her few belongings into a backpack. She had been stupid to trust Victor. Rich men didn't give away $80,000 out of kindness. They did it to buy people. But before she could leave her apartment, someone knocked on her door. 3 sharp knocks. Then silence. Zara looked through the peephole and saw Victor standing in the hallway. He looked nervous and kept checking over his shoulder like someone was following him. Zara, please open the door, he called softly. We need to talk. Both our lives are in danger. Go away, Zara shouted through the door. I know who you really are. I know you work with the people who want to kill me. That's exactly why we need to talk, Victor said urgently. I didn't know Dmitri was connected to your past until this afternoon. I'm not your enemy, Zara. I'm probably the only person who can help you now. Zara hesitated. Victor sounded genuinely scared, not like someone trying to trick her. And if he wanted to capture her, why would he come alone to her apartment? She opened the door but kept the security chain attached. Through the small gap, she could see Victor's worried face. You have 2 minutes to explain, she said. Dmitri Kozlov is my business partner, but I didn't know about his family's history with you. Russian criminals invested money in our company 3 years ago. They told me to find Dr. Zara Volkov and bring them her fusion research. I thought it was just business. I didn't know. They had tried to kill you. And now? Zara asked. Now they know I paid for your mother's surgery instead of kidnapping you. They think I've betrayed them. We're both targets now. Victor showed her his phone screen. The text messages were full of threats and angry words in Russian. They're coming for both of us, Victor said. Tonight. We need to disappear together, or we'll both end up dead separately. Zara stared at the messages. They were from the same organization that had tried to kill her 10 years ago. The same people who had murdered her research partner when he tried to protect her. Why should I trust you? She asked. Maybe this is all part of your plan to capture me. Because I just got a text saying they're sending people to kill me too, Victor said, showing her another message. Look. The message was clear and terrifying. You have chosen the scientist over us. Goodbye, Victor. Petrov. Zara unhooked the security chain and opened the door. Victor stumbled inside, and she could see he was shaking with fear. We need to leave the city, Victor said. I have a safe house in the mountains. We can hide there while we figure out what to do next. Running won't solve anything, Zara said. These people have unlimited money and connections everywhere. They'll find us eventually. Then what do you suggest? Zara walked to her kitchen and pulled out a small metal box from behind the refrigerator. Inside was a flash drive no bigger than her thumb. This contains all my research, she said. 10 years of work on fusion technology. It's worth billions of dollars and could change the future of energy and space travel. Victor stared at the tiny device that had caused so much trouble. What do you want to do with it? I want to give it to someone who will use it to help people instead of hurt them, Zara said. Someone with enough power to protect us from Dimitri's criminals. Who do you have in mind? Before Zara could answer, her apartment window exploded. Inward. Glass scattered across the floor as 3 men in black masks climbed through the opening. They moved fast and quiet, like professional killers. Dr. Zara Volkov, the leader said in accented English. You are coming with us. Victor stepped in front of Zara. She's under my protection. The man laughed coldly. Not anymore, Mr. Petrov. You chose the wrong side. One of the men raised a gun with a long silencer attached to the barrel. Victor and Zara had seconds to live. But Zara had spent 10 years preparing for this moment. She grabbed Victor's hand and pulled him toward her bedroom, where she had already cut a hole in the floor that led to the apartment. Below. Jump! She yelled. They crashed through the hole just as bullets started flying through the air, where their heads had been a moment before. In the apartment below, an elderly woman screamed as 2 people fell through her ceiling. Zara and Victor rolled to their feet and ran for the fire escape. My car is in the alley, Victor gasped as they climbed down the metal stairs. Behind them, they could hear the killers shouting in Russian and breaking down doors to follow them. Victor's expensive sports car was parked behind the building. They jumped inside just as the first killer appeared on the fire escape above them. Drive! Zara yelled. Victor pressed the gas pedal to the floor, and the car shot forward like a rocket. In the rearview mirror, they could see men with guns running after them. Where are we going? Victor asked as they raced through the city streets. To find someone with enough power to stop this madness, Zara said. She pulled out her phone and dialed a number she had memorized but never called. Who are you calling? Victor asked. Elon Musk, Zara said simply. If anyone can protect us and use my research for good instead of evil, it's him. The phone rang once, twice. On the third ring, a familiar voice answered. This is Elon. Mr. Musk, this is Dr. Zara. Volkov, I have fusion technology that could power your Mars missions. But right now, some very bad people are trying to kill me and steal my research. I need your help. There was a long pause. Then Elon's voice came back, excited and curious. Dr. Volkov, I've been wondering what happened to you. Where are you right now? Running for my life in downtown Los Angeles, Zara said, as Victor swerved around a corner. I'm sending a helicopter to pick you up. Get to the roof of the Marriott Hotel on Spring Street. My security team will handle the rest. As they raced toward the hotel, Victor looked at Zara with amazement. You have Elon Musk's phone number? Every brilliant scientist has Elon Musk's phone number, Zara said with a tired smile. The question is whether we're brave enough to use it. Behind them, black cars with tinted windows were catching up fast. The real chase was just beginning. Victor's sports car screamed through the streets of Los Angeles like a silver bullet. Behind them, 3 black SUVs with dark windows were getting closer every second. The engines roared like angry monsters, as the chase wound through busy traffic. "Turn left at the next light," Zara shouted, gripping the dashboard with white knuckles. Victor spun the steering wheel hard. The car's tires squealed against the asphalt as they took the corner on two wheels. Car horns blared as they cut in front of a city bus. "How much farther to the Marriott?" Victor yelled over the noise. 6 blocks, Zara checked her phone's GPS. "But they're gaining on us." In the rearview mirror, Victor could see men leaning out of the SUV windows with guns. These weren't ordinary criminals. They moved like soldiers, like people who killed for a living. "Hold on!" Victor shouted. He yanked the car into the oncoming traffic lane. Cars swerved and crashed into each other, trying to avoid them. Victor's expensive sports car shot through the chaos like it was designed for this kind of madness. But the black SUVs followed right behind them, pushing other cars out of the way like they were toys. "There," Zara pointed ahead. "The Marriott Hotel!" The tall glass building rose up in front of them like a mountain. Victor could see a helicopter circling the roof, waiting to rescue them. But they still had to get inside the building and up to the top floor. Victor slammed on the brakes, and the car skidded to a stop in front of the hotel entrance. He and Zara jumped out and ran toward the glass doors. Behind them, the black SUVs screeched to a halt. Men in dark suits poured out with guns in their hands. Hotel guests screamed and ran in all directions. "Stop right there, Dr. Volkov!" One of the men shouted in Russian, "You cannot run from us forever!" Victor and Zara burst through the hotel lobby doors. The fancy marble floor was full of terrified people diving behind couches and plants. "Elevator!" Zara pointed to the golden doors across the lobby. They ran as fast as they could, but the armed men were right behind them. Bullets started flying through the air, shattering expensive vases and mirrors. The elevator doors opened just as Victor and Zara reached them. But inside the elevator was another surprise. A tall man in a black suit, with kind eyes and a slight smile. "Dr. Volkov? Mr. Petrov? I'm Marcus, Elon's head of security. Get in quickly." They jumped into the elevator just as more bullets hit the closing doors. Marcus pressed a special button that made the elevator shoot upward faster than normal. "Mr. Musk is waiting on the roof," Marcus said calmly, like people weren't trying to kill them. "He's very excited to meet you, Dr. Volkov. Your research could change everything." The elevator climbed higher and higher. Through the glass walls, they could see the city spreading out below them like a carpet of lights. "How did you know we needed help?" Victor asked. "Mr. Musk has been tracking unusual activity around Dr. Volkov's identity for months," Marcus explained. "When Russian criminals started asking questions about her, we knew trouble was coming." The elevator doors opened onto the hotel roof. The wind from the helicopter blades was so strong, it almost knocked them over. Standing next to the helicopter was a man in jeans and a shirt who looked like any normal person, except his eyes sparkled with the kind of intelligence that could change the world. "Dr. Zara Volkov," Elon Musk had to shout over the helicopter noise. "I've been wanting to meet you for years." He reached out to shake her hand, but Zara was too amazed to move. This was the man who had built electric cars, launched rockets to space, and dreamed of taking humans to Mars. "Mr. Musk," she said finally, "thank you for saving our lives." "Thank you for trusting me with your fusion research," Elon replied. "But we need to get out of here before those guys figure out how to get to the roof." Just then, the roof access door burst open. The armed men had found the stairs and were running toward them with guns raised. "Get in the helicopter!" Marcus shouted. Victor grabbed Zara's hand and they ran toward the aircraft. The helicopter blades were spinning so fast they looked like a blur. The noise was incredible. But before they could reach safety, one of the gunmen got a clear shot. Victor heard the meeb bullet whistle past his ear. Then he felt a sharp pain in his shoulder and stumbled forward. "Victor!" Zara screamed. Blood was spreading across Victor's expensive shirt. He had been shot, but he kept running toward the helicopter. Elon and Marcus helped them climb into the aircraft. As soon as they were inside, the helicopter lifted off the roof and rose into the night sky. Through the window, Zara could see the armed men on the roof getting smaller and smaller. They were finally safe, but Victor was badly hurt. "There's a first aid kit under the seat," Elon said, pointing to a medical box. Zara opened the kit and started cleaning Victor's wound. The bullet had gone through his shoulder muscle but missed the bone. He would be okay, but he needed a doctor. "Where are we going?" Victor asked through gritted teeth. "My private facility in the desert," Elon replied. "It's completely secure. We can treat your injury there and talk about Dr. Volkov's research." As the helicopter flew over the city lights, Zara finally felt like she could breathe again. For the first time in 10 years, she was with people who wanted to use her science to help humanity instead of destroy it. "Mr. Musk," she said, "I need you to know that my research isn't complete. The fusion technology works, but it's dangerous. One mistake could create an explosion that destroys everything within miles. That's why we need brilliant scientists like you," Elon said with a smile, "to figure out how to make it safe." Victor looked at Zara with new respect, even though he was in pain. "You've been carrying this burden alone for 10 years. "Not anymore," Zara said, squeezing his uninjured hand. "Now we're partners, remember?" But their relief was short-lived. Elon's phone started ringing with an urgent tone. "What is it?" he answered quickly. The voice on the other end was panicked and scared. "Mr. Musk, we have a problem. The men who were chasing Dr. Volkov didn't just want her research. They kidnapped someone else, a 16-year-old girl named Maya Mitchell. They're using her as bait." Zara's blood turned to ice. Maya Mitchell was the fake name she had given her daughter 10 years ago when she put her in foster care. The criminals had found her daughter. "They have Maya," Zara whispered, her voice breaking. "Who's Maya?" Victor asked. For the first time, Zara told the complete truth about her biggest secret. "Maya is my daughter. I gave her up to protect her when I ran away from Russia. She's 16 years old, and she doesn't even know I'm her real mother." Elon's face turned serious. "They're using your daughter to force you to give them the fusion research." "Where is she?" Zara asked desperately. "They sent coordinates," Elon said, checking his phone. "An abandoned warehouse outside the city. They want you to come alone, or they'll kill her." Victor tried to sit up despite his injury. "It's a trap. They'll kill both of you." "I don't care," Zara said fiercely. "She's my daughter. I won't let them hurt her because of my mistakes." "Then we don't go alone," Elon said with determination. "We go with a plan." As the helicopter changed direction toward the warehouse, Zara stared out at the dark desert. Below, she had spent 10 years protecting her daughter by staying away from her. Now, she would have to risk everything to save her. The most dangerous part of their journey was just beginning. The helicopter flew through the dark night toward the abandoned warehouse where Zara's daughter was being held prisoner. Inside, the Haitihum aircraft. Zara's hands shook as she stared at the photo the criminals had sent to Elon's phone. Maya looked just like Zara had at 16. The same curious brown eyes, the same stubborn chin, the same wild curly hair. But Maya's eyes were filled with fear as she sat tied to a chair in what looked like an empty building. "She's so beautiful," Victor said softly, despite the pain from his wounded shoulder. "She looks exactly like you." "I haven't seen her face this close in 10 years, Zara whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I used to watch her from far away sometimes, at school events, science fairs, soccer games, but I could never let her see me." "Why didn't you tell her the truth?" Elon asked gently. "Because the truth would have put her in danger," Zara explained. "As long as she thought her parents were dead, the criminals had no reason to look for her. But now they know she exists, and they're using her against me." The helicopter pilot's voice came through their headphones. "We're approaching the target location. I can see the warehouse." Through the window, they could see a large, dark building, surrounded by empty parking lots and abandoned cars. A few lights glowed in the windows, and several black SUVs were parked outside. "How many men do you think are down there?" Victor asked. "At least a dozen," Elon replied, looking through binoculars. "Maybe more. They're expecting us to walk into their trap." "So what's the plan?" Zara asked. Elon smiled like he was about to enjoy himself. "We give them exactly what they expect, but not how they expect it." He opened a metal case that was filled with small electronic devices that looked like high-tech toys. "These are prototype surveillance drones," Elon explained. "Each one has cameras, microphones, and a few other special features. We can see everything inside the warehouse before we go in." The helicopter landed about a mile away from the warehouse, hidden behind some old factory buildings. Elon released 6 tiny drones that flew through the air like mechanical insects. "There," Elon pointed to his tablet screen. "I can see Maya in the main room. She's tied up, but she looks unharmed." On the screen, they could see Maya sitting in a chair, surrounded by men with guns. She looked scared, but also angry, like she was planning something. "She's smart, like her mother," Victor observed. "Look at her eyes. She's studying everything around her, looking for a way to escape." "I count 12 armed men," Elon said, moving the drones to different parts of the building. "Plus the leader, who's probably Dmitry Kozlov himself." Zara's blood boiled when she heard that name. Dmitry was the man who had tried to kill her 10 years ago. He was the reason she had to give up her daughter and live in hiding. "There's something else," Elon said, frowning at his screen. "They have some kind of large device in the back room. It looks like they're trying to build something." Zara looked at the screen and gasped. "That's a fusion reactor. They're trying to recreate my research without me." "Is it dangerous?" Victor asked. "Very dangerous," Zara said. "If they built it wrong, it could explode like a nuclear bomb. It could destroy half the city." "Then we need to stop them and save Maya," Elon said firmly. "Here's what we're going to do." The plan was simple but risky. Zara would walk into the warehouse alone, just like the criminals expected. But she would be carrying one of Elon's special devices, a small computer that could hack into any electronic system. While the criminals were focused on Zara, Elon and his security team would sneak into the building through the back entrance. Victor would stay with the helicopter, ready to fly them all to safety once they rescued Maya. "What if something goes wrong?" Victor asked. "Then we improvise," Elon said with a grin. "I've gotten pretty good at that over the years." Zara walked across the empty parking lot toward the warehouse. Her heart was beating so fast, she thought it might explode. She hadn't seen her daughter face to face since Maya was 6 years old. Now Maya was 16 and didn't even know who her real mother was. The warehouse doors opened as Zara approached. Dmitry Kozlov stepped out, flanked by 4 men with automatic rifles. He looked older than Zara remembered, with gray hair and cold eyes that showed no emotion. "Dr. Zara Volkov," Dmitry said in accented English. "You look different with brown hair, but you still have the same stubborn expression." "Let my daughter go," Zara said. "I'll give you whatever you want." "Your daughter?" Dmitry laughed coldly. "Maya doesn't know you exist. To her, you're just a stranger. Isn't that sad?" They walked into the warehouse, and Zara saw Maya for the first time in 10 years. Her daughter had grown into a beautiful, intelligent young woman, but right now, Maya looked confused and terrified. "Who are you?" Maya asked when she saw Zara. "Why do these men think you're important to me?" Zara's heart broke. Her own daughter didn't recognize her. "Maya," Zara said softly, "there are things about your family that you don't know. Things that were kept secret to protect you." "What kind of things?" Maya asked. Before Zara could answer, Dmitry interrupted. "How touching. But we're here for business, not family reunions." He gestured to the back of the warehouse, where the dangerous fusion device was humming with energy. "We've been trying to recreate your research for years," Dmitry said, "but we can't make it stable. Every time we test it, the reaction gets out of control. We need your expertise to fix it." "And if I refuse?" Zara asked. "Then your daughter dies, and we keep experimenting until we get it right. Eventually, we'll figure it out. But Maya won't live to see it." Zara looked at the fusion device and felt sick. They had built it all wrong. The magnetic containment field was unstable, the plasma chamber was too small, and the cooling system was completely inadequate. If they tried to run it at full power, it would explode with the force of 1,000 bombs. "You idiots don't know what you're doing," Zara said. "This thing is a nuclear bomb waiting to go off." "Then fix it," Dmitry demanded. "No," Zara said firmly. "I won't help you turn my life's work into a weapon." Dmitry nodded to one of his men, who pointed his gun at Maya's head. "Fix it, or watch your daughter die." Maya looked at Zara with new understanding. "You're my mother, aren't you? My real mother?" Zara nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, Maya, I'm your mother, and I'm sorry for everything." "Why did you leave me?" Maya asked. "To protect you from people like him," Zara said, glaring at Dmitry. Just then, the lights went out. The warehouse was plunged into complete darkness. Zara had secretly activated Elon's hacking device, which overloaded the building's high-tension electrical system. In the darkness, chaos erupted. Men shouted in Russian and English. Guns fired randomly. And somewhere in the confusion, Zara heard Maya's voice. "Mom, I'm over here." Zara ran toward her daughter's voice. Guided by love and desperation, she found Maya in the dark and quickly untied the ropes around her wrists. "We need to get out of here," Zara whispered. "What about that machine?" Maya asked. "If it's as dangerous as you said, shouldn't we turn it off?" Even in the middle of a life-or-death situation, Maya was thinking like a scientist. Zara felt proud and terrified at the same time. Emergency lighting flickered on, casting red shadows throughout the warehouse. In the dim light, Zara and Maya could see Elon's security team fighting with Dimitri's men. "This way," Elon's voice called from across the room. But as they ran toward the exit, Dimitri stepped out of the shadows with a gun in his hand. "You're not going anywhere, Dr. Volkov. Not until you fix my machine. I told you, I won't help you build weapons," Zara said. "Then you'll die here with your daughter," Dimitri snarled. He raised his gun, but before he could fire, Maya stepped in front of her mother. "Wait!" Maya shouted. "I know how to fix your machine." Everyone stopped moving. Dimitri looked at the 16-year-old girl with surprise. "You're just a child. What could you possibly know about fusion technology?" Maya smiled, and for the first time, Zara saw her own intelligence shining in her daughter's eyes. "I know that your containment field is unstable because you're using the wrong frequency Quanfurt Tatuan harmonics. I know that your plasma chamber is too small for the reaction you're trying to create. And I know that if you don't shut it down in the next 5 minutes, it's going to explode and kill everyone in this building." Dimitri stared at her in shock. "How do you know that?" "Because I'm Dr. Zara Volkov's daughter," Maya said proudly. "And I inherited more than just her looks." In the back of the warehouse, the fusion device started making a high-pitched whining sound. Sparks flew from its control panels, and the air began to smell like burning metal. "It's going critical," Zara shouted. "Everyone needs to get out of here now." The machine that Dimitri's people had built wrong was about to explode with enough force to level several city blocks. Their only chance was to run as fast as they could and hope they could get far enough away in time. But as they ran for the exit, Zara realized that Maya was no longer beside her. Her daughter had stopped running and was staring at the dangerous machine with the same expression Zara had when she was solving a difficult scientific problem. "Maya, what are you doing?" Zara screamed over the noise. "I think I can stop it," Maya called back. "But I need 30 seconds. It's too dangerous." Zara ran back toward her daughter. "Trust me, Mom," Maya said with a confident smile. "I've been studying your research, papers for years. I know how this works." As the fusion device screamed louder and sparks flew everywhere, Maya ran toward the most dangerous machine in the world, determined to save everyone in the building, including the criminals who had kidnapped her. Maya ran toward the screaming fusion reactor like she was running toward a wild animal. The machine was shaking so hard that bolts were falling off its metal frame. Sparks shot out in all directions, and the air was getting so hot it hurt to breathe. "Maya! No!" Zara screamed, running after her daughter. "It's too dangerous!" But Maya had already reached the control panel. Her fingers flew over the buttons and switches like she had been working with fusion reactors her whole life. The machine's whining got louder, and more sparks exploded from its core. "The magnetic field is collapsing!" Maya shouted over the noise. "I need to reverse the polarity and reduce the plasma pressure." Zara watched in amazement as her 16-year-old daughter worked to save everyone's lives. Maya's hands moved with confidence and precision, like she understood the machine better than the scientists who had built it. "How does she know how to do that?" Dimitri asked in shock. Even the criminal leader couldn't believe what he was seeing. "She's been studying my research papers for years," Zara said with pride and terror. She taught herself nuclear physics. Maya's fingers found the main power control. She started, turning it down slowly, fighting against the machine's desire to explode. "Come on," she whispered to the reactor. "Work with me, not against me." The whining sound started to get quieter. The sparks began to slow down. For a moment, it looked like Maya was going to succeed. Then, the machine gave one last angry roar, and every light in the warehouse exploded. In the total darkness, they heard Maya scream. "Maya!" Zara ran blindly toward where her daughter had been standing. Emergency lights flickered on, casting eerie red shadows everywhere. Zara found Maya lying on the floor next to the now silent fusion reactor. Her daughter was unconscious, but she was breathing. "Is she okay?" Victor's voice came from behind them. Despite his wounded shoulder, he had run into the warehouse. "To help?" "I don't know," Zara said, cradling Maya's head in her lap. The electromagnetic pulse from the reactor might have affected her nervous system. Elon appeared with his security team. The criminals had either run away or been captured during the chaos. Dmitri was nowhere to be seen. "We need to get her." "To a hospital," Elon said urgently. "No," Zara said, surprising everyone. "Not a regular hospital. I know what happened to her. The reactor's energy field created a quantum resonance that connected with her brain patterns. She needs special treatment." Victor knelt down beside them. "What kind of treatment?" "The kind that only exists in my research notes," Zara said. "The fusion reaction didn't just shut down normally. Maya did something I've never seen before. She synchronized her own bioelectric field with the machine's quantum state." "What does that mean?" Elon asked. "It means she didn't just turn off the reactor," Zara explained. "She communicated with it. She made a quantum connection between her consciousness and the machine's energy field." Maya's eyes fluttered open. When she looked at her mother, her pupils were glowing with a faint silvery light. "Mom," Maya whispered, "I can see things. I can see the quantum fields that connect everything in the universe." Zara's heart stopped. Her daughter had experienced something that no human being had ever experienced before. A direct connection to the fundamental forces of reality. "What do you see?" Zara asked gently. "I can see the fusion reactions happening inside stars," Maya said in wonder. "I can see how energy flows between atoms. I can see the mathematical equations that govern space and time." Victor and Elon exchanged worried looks. Maya was describing things that even the most advanced scientists could only guess about. "How do you feel?" Zara asked. "Different," Maya said. "Like I understand things I never understood before. Like I can see the answers to questions that haven't been asked yet." Maya sat up slowly, and the silver glow in her eyes grew brighter. "Mom, I need to tell you something important. When I was connected to the reactor, I saw something about the future." "What did you see?" "I saw humanity spreading across the galaxy. I saw cities built on Mars and Europa. I saw fusion reactors providing clean energy for billions of people. And I saw it all starting with your research. Mom, your work is going to change everything." Zara felt tears rolling down her cheeks. For 10 years, she had thought her research was too dangerous to use. But now her daughter was telling her it could save the human race. "There's something else," Maya continued. "I saw the people who have been chasing you. They're not just criminals. They work for a government organization that's been collecting brilliant scientists from around the world. What kind of organization? Elon asked. They call themselves the Prometheus Project, Maya said, her eyes still glowing with quantum light. They kidnap scientists and force them to create weapons. They have facilities on every continent. Hundreds of brilliant people are being held prisoner right now. Victor felt sick. My company was just a front. They were using me to find and capture scientists. Not just your company, Maya said. They have connections everywhere. Universities, tech companies, government agencies. They've been building a secret army of forced innovation. Elon's phone started ringing. He answered it quickly. "Sir, we have a problem," the voice on the other end said. "Satellite surveillance shows military vehicles surrounding your facility in the desert. They know where you are." "How many vehicles?" Elon asked. 20, maybe more. And they're not just regular military. These look like special forces. Zara helped Maya stand up. Her daughter was still weak from her quantum experience, but the silver glow in her eyes was getting brighter. "We need to go," Zara said. "Now." But as they started toward the warehouse exit, Maya stopped walking. "Wait," she said. "There's something I need to get first." Maya walked back to the fusion reactor, which was now completely silent. She opened a panel on its side and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. "What is that?" Victor asked. "It's a quantum storage device," Maya explained. "When I connected with the reactor, I downloaded something important. The locations of all the Prometheus Project facilities, the names of all the kidnapped scientists, and the plans for their ultimate weapon." She handed the crystal to her mother. "This is the key to shutting down their entire operation." Zara stared at the crystal in amazement. Her daughter had not only saved everyone in the warehouse, she had also discovered information that could free hundreds of imprisoned scientists. "How did you know the crystal would be there?" Zara asked. "I didn't know," Maya said with a mysterious smile. "But when I was connected to the quantum field, I learned how to create it. I stored all the information in the reactor's memory core and then crystallized it into physical form." Elon looked at Maya with new respect. "You just invented quantum data storage. That's technology that shouldn't exist for another 50 years. "Time works differently when you're connected to the quantum field," Maya said. "I experienced about 6 hours of learning in 30 seconds of real time." Outside the warehouse, they could hear helicopters approaching. The Prometheus Project had found them. "We need multiple escape routes," Elon said. "They'll try to surround us." "I have an idea," Maya said, her eyes still glowing with quantum energy. "But you're not going to believe it." She walked to an empty section of the warehouse floor and knelt down. She placed her hands on the concrete and closed her eyes. "Maya, what are you doing?" Zara asked. "Creating a quantum tunnel," Maya said calmly. "I can manipulate space-time now, remember?" The air around Maya began to shimmer like heat waves. A circle of light appeared on the floor, growing brighter and larger. "That's impossible," Victor breathed. "Impossible is just another word for hasn't been discovered yet," Maya said with a grin. The circle of light became a glowing doorway that seemed to lead into stars and galaxies. "Where does it go?" Elon asked. "Somewhere safe," Maya said. "Somewhere they'll never find us. A place where we can plan how to shut down the Prometheus Project and free all the captured scientists." The sound of helicopters was getting louder. Through the warehouse windows, They could see spotlights searching the building. "We have to go now," Zara said. One by one, they stepped through Maya's quantum doorway. Zara went first, then Victor, then Elon, and his security team. Maya was the last to go through. Before she stepped into the tunnel of light, she looked back at the warehouse, where her life had changed forever. "Thank you," she whispered to the silent fusion reactor. "Thank you for showing me who I really am." Then she stepped through the quantum doorway, and it closed behind her with a flash of silver light. When the Prometheus Project soldiers broke into the warehouse 30 seconds later, they found nothing but an empty building and the lingering smell of ionized air. Dr. Zara Volkov and her daughter Maya had vanished into the quantum realm, taking with them the secrets that could change the future of human civilization. But their greatest adventure was just beginning. Zara stepped through Maya's quantum doorway and found herself standing on a beach she had never seen before. The sand was white as snow, and the ocean stretched out to meet a sky full of unfamiliar stars. The air smelled like flowers and ocean salt, and everything was peaceful. "Where are we?" Victor asked, looking around in amazement. His wounded shoulder was still bleeding, but the pain seemed less intense in this strange, beautiful place. "I'm not exactly sure," Maya said, as she stepped through the glowing portal behind them. The silver light in her eyes was still bright, but she looked tired from using her new quantum abilities. "I created a pocket dimension, a safe space between worlds where the Prometheus Project can't find us." Elon walked to the edge of the water and knelt down to touch it. "This is real," he said in wonder. "The water is warm, and I can feel the sand between my fingers. You created an actual world." "Not created," Maya corrected. "I found a space between dimensions that wasn't being used and shaped it into something comfortable. Think of it like renting an empty room and decorating it." Zara looked at her daughter with a mixture of pride and worry. "Maya, honey, what you did back there, connecting with the fusion reactor, that was incredibly dangerous. We don't know what the long-term effects might be." "I feel fine, Mom," Maya said, sitting down on the sand. "Better than fine, actually. I feel like I finally understand my place in the universe." For the first time in 10 years, Zara could sit next to her, daughter without fear or hiding. She wrapped her arms around Maya and held her close, breathing in the scent of her hair and memorizing the feeling of her heartbeat. "I'm so sorry," Zara whispered, tears flowing down her cheeks. "I'm sorry I couldn't be there for your first day of school, or your science fair projects, or when you had nightmares. I'm sorry I missed watching you grow up." "Mom, it's okay," Maya said, hugging her back just as tightly. "I understand why you had to stay away. You were protecting me, but you shouldn't have had to grow up without your real mother," Zara said. "You shouldn't have had to figure out nuclear physics by yourself. You shouldn't have had to save everyone back there. That was my responsibility." Maya pulled back to look at her mother's face. "Do you want to know a secret? I always knew you were still alive." Zara's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "My foster parents, the Mitchells, they're good people, but they're terrible liars," Maya said with a small smile. "They told me my parents died in a car accident when I was 6, but I remembered you, Mom. I remembered your voice singing Russian lullabies. I remembered the way you smelled like flowers and laboratory chemicals. I remembered your hands teaching me to count in different languages. Victor and Elon sat nearby, listening quietly to this mother-daughter reunion they had helped make possible. So, what did you do? Zara asked. I started researching, Maya said. I learned Russian so I could read scientific papers. I hacked into government databases to look for death certificates that didn't exist. I studied nuclear physics because I remembered you working with glowing machines that hummed like music. You hacked government databases? Elon asked, impressed. At what age? 12, Maya said casually. It wasn't that hard once I figured out their password patterns. Zara laughed despite her tears. You definitely inherited my curiosity and your father's stubbornness. Tell me about my father, Maya said. The Mitchells said he died in the same accident, but I know that's not true either. Zara's face grew sad. Your father's name was Dr. James Mitchell. He was brilliant, like you. We worked together on fusion research in Moscow. I thought he loved science as much as I did. What happened to him? He betrayed everything we believed in, Zara said quietly. He sold our research to weapons dealers. When I found out, I tried to stop him. He tried to have me killed, rather than give up the money. Maya was quiet for a long moment. So he really is dead? Yes, Zara said. But not in a car accident. The people he was working with killed him when he became more trouble than he was worth. I'm glad you're my real parent, Maya said firmly. I'd rather have a mother who sacrificed everything to protect me than a father who sold his soul for money. They sat together on the beach, watching alien stars reflect on the water. Victor had found some driftwood and built a small fire. Elon was examining the quantum storage crystal Maya had created, trying to understand how it worked. Mom, Maya said after a while, when I was connected to the fusion reactor, I saw something else, something about you. What did you see? I saw why your research is so important. It's not just about clean energy or space travel. It's about giving humanity the tools we need to survive in the universe. Maya's eyes began to glow brighter as she accessed the quantum knowledge she had gained. Earth won't be able to support human life forever, she explained. Climate change, resource depletion, asteroid impacts, there are dozens of threats that could end our species. But with fusion technology, we can build ships to carry millions of people to other worlds. We can create energy sources that last for thousands of years. We can turn humanity into a spacefaring civilization. That's what I always hoped, Zara said. But I was afraid my research would be used for war, instead of exploration. It will be used for both, Maya said honestly. Some people will always try to turn tools into weapons. But that doesn't mean we should stop making tools. It means we need to make sure the right people have access to them first. Elon looked up from the crystal he was studying. Speaking of the right people, we need to talk about what's on this crystal, the information Maya downloaded from the Prometheus project. He activated a holographic display that showed a map of the world covered in red dots. These are the locations of Prometheus facilities, Elon explained. 47 buildings across 6 continents. Each one holds between 20 and 50 kidnapped scientists. Victor whistled in amazement. That's over 2,000 brilliant minds being forced to work on weapons projects. Including some of the smartest people who ever lived, Maya added. I saw their profiles in the Quantum. Download. Nobel Prize winners, child prodigies. researchers who disappeared mysteriously over the past 20 years. How do we shut down an organization that big? Zara asked. We don't do it alone, Elon said. We need help from governments, law enforcement, and other scientists who believe in using technology for good instead of evil. But first, we need proof, Victor said. Video evidence, financial records, testimony from rescued scientists. Otherwise, people will think we're making it all up. Maya stood up and walked to the edge of the quantum dimension. She could see through the barrier to the real world, where Prometheus Project soldiers were still searching for them. I have an idea, she said, but it's risky. Everything we've done so far has been risky, Zara pointed out. What's one more dangerous plan? I can use my quantum abilities to infiltrate their computer networks, Maya explained. Not from the outside, like regular hacking. I can actually enter their digital systems and copy everything they have. That sounds incredibly dangerous, Victor said. What if you get trapped inside a computer? Or what if they detect you and trace your signal back to us? Elon added. Those are risks we'll have to take, Maya said firmly. Mom, you spent 10 years hiding from these people. How many other brilliant scientists spent 10 years locked in cages because no one knew they needed help? Zara looked at her daughter with tremendous pride. At 16, Maya was already braver and more selfless than most adults. If you're going to do this, we do it together, Zara said. I won't let you face that kind of danger alone. Mom, you can't come with me into cyberspace. You don't have quantum abilities. Then we'll find another way for me to help, Zara said stubbornly. We're partners now, remember? Whatever we do as a team. Maya smiled and hugged her mother. Okay, partner. Let's figure out how to save the world. As they sat around the fire planning their next move, none of them noticed the small device that had followed them through the quantum portal. Hidden in the sand like a mechanical crab, it recorded everything they said and transmitted the information to a very interested listener. Dr. James Mitchell smiled as he watched his daughter and ex-wife plan their heroic mission. Reports of his death had been greatly exaggerated. For 10 years, he had been the secret leader of the Prometheus Project, using the organization to hunt for Zara and their child. Now, he had found them both. And soon, he would have the family reunion he had been planning for a decade. But first, he would let them rescue a few scientists and feel like heroes. It would make their capture so much more devastating when the time came. The greatest trap was about to be sprung, and Maya's quantum abilities were exactly what he needed to complete his ultimate weapon. Maya sat cross-legged on the white sand of their pocket dimension, her eyes glowing with silver quantum energy. She had been preparing for hours to enter the Prometheus Project's computer networks, but something felt wrong. Are you sure about this? Zara asked, kneeling beside her daughter. Once you go into cyberspace, I won't be able to protect you. I'll be fine, Mom, Maya said, though she didn't sound completely confident. I can feel the network connections from here. There are so many computers, so much data. It's like looking at a galaxy made of information. Victor and Elon watched nervously as Maya closed her eyes and reached out with her quantum consciousness. Her body became very still, but her mind began traveling through fiber optic cables and wireless signals at the speed of light. Inside the digital world, Maya found herself swimming through oceans of data. Computer files looked like glowing fish, and security programs moved like sharks through the electronic water. She had never experienced anything like it. Incredible, she whispered to herself as she moved deeper into the Prometheus network. She found the first facility's records easily. Video files showing scientists locked in cells, forced to work on weapons projects. Financial records proving that governments around the world were paying for kidnapped researchers. Email chains discussing acquisitions of brilliant minds like they were buying cattle. But as Maya copied the files, she began to notice something strange. The security systems weren't trying to stop her. In fact, they seemed to be guiding her toward specific information, like someone wanted her to find it. "That's odd," Maya said, floating through a database filled with scientist profiles. Then, she saw something that made her quantum heart stop beating. A file labeled Subject 0, Maya Mitchell Volkov. With trembling digital fingers, she opened the file. Inside were photos of her from every year of her life. Pictures of her at school, at science fairs, playing soccer, studying in the library. Someone had been watching her grow up, documenting everything she did. But the most shocking part was the signature at the bottom of every report. Dr. James Mitchell, project director. "That's impossible," Maya whispered. "My father is dead." She opened more files, going deeper into the Prometheus project's most secret records. What she found there shattered everything she thought she knew about her family. Dr. James Mitchell was not only alive, he was the leader of the entire Prometheus project. For 10 years, he had been hunting for Zara and Maya, not to kill them, but to complete what he called the Trinity weapon. Maya read the files with growing horror. Her father's plan was to combine Zara's fusion technology with Maya's quantum abilities and his own weapons expertise. Together, they would create a device that could destroy entire planets. The Trinity requires 3 components, James had written in his secret journal: the mother's fusion science, the daughter's quantum consciousness, and the father's strategic vision. When united, they will give us power over life and death across the galaxy. Maya tried to leave the network, but suddenly found herself trapped. Digital walls appeared around her, forming a cage made of computer code. "Hello, Maya," a familiar voice said. Maya turned and saw a man she recognized from old photos, her father, Dr. James Mitchell. But this wasn't his real body. It was his consciousness, uploaded into the computer network. "You're supposed to be dead," Maya said, her quantum form trembling with shock and anger. "Death is just another boundary to cross," James replied with a cold smile. "I've been living in the digital realm for 3 years, ever since the Prometheus project gave me the technology to upload my mind. I'm more powerful here than I ever was in my physical body. You're the one who's been kidnapping scientists. You're the one who tried to kill Mom." "I never tried to kill your mother," James said calmly. "I tried to convince her to join me. When she refused, I had to find other ways to get what I needed." Maya felt sick. "You kidnapped me to force her to work with you." "A necessary step," James admitted. "But now that you've developed quantum abilities, we don't need to force anything. You, me, and your mother can work together as a family. We can build weapons that will make us the most powerful people in the universe." "Never," Maya said firmly. "I won't help you hurt innocent people." James laughed. "Innocent? Maya, the universe is full of dangers. Alien civilizations that could destroy Earth. Asteroid impacts. Solar flares. Nuclear wars. The only way to protect humanity is to make sure we're the strongest species in the galaxy." "By building planet-killing weapons?" Maya asked in disgust. "By building tools that ensure our survival," James corrected. Your mother was always too soft. She never understood that sometimes you have to be willing to destroy your enemies to protect the people you love. Maya tried to break free from the digital cage, but her father's programs were too strong. You can't keep me here forever, she said. I don't need forever, James replied. Just long enough for my people to capture your mother. And that foolish billionaire who's been helping you? Maya's quantum heart filled with terror. What do you mean? Did you really think you could hide in a pocket dimension forever? James asked with amusement. I've been tracking you since you left the warehouse. My surveillance device followed you through your quantum portal. Right now, Prometheus soldiers are preparing to invade your little beach paradise. Through the computer network, James showed Maya live video feeds of the real world. Hundreds of soldiers in black armor were surrounding the dimensional barrier that protected Zara, Victor, and Elon. Let me go, Maya screamed, throwing her quantum energy against the digital walls. I have to warn them! There's no point, James said. They'll be captured within minutes. But don't worry, I won't hurt them. I need your mother's cooperation, and killing her friends would only make her angry. Maya watched in horror as the soldiers began cutting through the dimensional barrier with advanced energy weapons. Her beautiful beach sanctuary was being invaded by an army. However, James continued, I will hurt them if you don't cooperate. Your choice, Maya. Help me build the Trinity weapon, or watch everyone you love suffer. Maya closed her glowing eyes and thought about everything her mother had taught her, even from a distance. Zara had always chosen to protect others, even when it cost her everything. I know what you're thinking, James said, reading her quantum thoughts. You're going to try to sacrifice yourself to save them. But that won't work this time. I need all three of us to complete the weapon. If any one of us dies, the project fails. Maya opened her eyes and looked at her father with determination. Then I guess I'll have to find a fourth option. There is no fourth option, James said confidently. There's always another option, Maya replied. Mom taught me that. Even when everything seems hopeless, brilliant people find ways to change the rules of the game. Maya began gathering her quantum energy, not to break free from the cage, but to do something her father had never imagined. She started rewriting the fundamental code of the entire Prometheus network. What are you doing? James demanded, his digital form flickering with alarm. I'm giving every kidnapped scientist in the world the ability to break free from their prisons, Maya said as her power flowed through fiber optic cables to every Prometheus facility on Earth. You can't do that. The network will collapse. I know, Maya said with a smile. And when it does, every security door in every Prometheus building will unlock. Every communication system will broadcast the locations of hidden facilities. Every bank account funding. Your operation will transfer its money to organizations that help victims of kidnapping. James tried to stop her, but Maya's quantum abilities were beyond anything he had prepared for. She wasn't just hacking computers. She was rewriting the laws of digital physics. You're destroying everything I've built, James screamed as his empire began crumbling around him. I'm setting people free, Maya corrected. That's what the Volkov family does. We use science to help people, not control them. As the Prometheus network collapsed, Maya felt herself being pulled back to her physical body on the beach. But before she left cyberspace completely, she had one last message for her father. Goodbye, James, she said sadly. I wish you had chosen to be a better person. This isn't over, James yelled, as his digital form began dissolving. I'll find another way. I'll never stop hunting you. But Maya was already gone, returning to the real world where her mother and friends were fighting for their lives against an army that no longer had any way to communicate or coordinate their attack. The greatest prison break in human history had just begun, and it was all thanks to a 16-year-old girl who chose love over power. Maya's eyes snapped open on the beach of their pocket dimension. The silver glow was brighter than ever, but her face was pale with exhaustion. She had used enormous amounts of quantum energy to destroy the Prometheus network. Maya! Zara rushed to her daughter's side. What happened? You were unconscious for 20 minutes. The network? I destroyed it, Maya gasped, struggling to sit up. Every Prometheus facility in the world is opening right now. Thousands of kidnapped scientists are being freed. Victor and Elon looked amazed, but they could also hear something terrifying in the distance. The sound of energy weapons cutting through the dimensional barrier that protected their beach sanctuary. That's wonderful news, Elon said urgently. But we have more immediate problems. Look. He pointed toward the edge of their pocket dimension, where the peaceful blue sky was starting to crack like broken glass. Through the cracks, they could see soldiers in black armor with advanced weapons. How did they find us? Victor asked, clutching his wounded shoulder. My father, Maya said bitterly. Dr. James Mitchell. He's alive, and he's been hunting us for 10 years. He put a tracking device in the warehouse that followed us here. Zara's face went white with shock. James is alive? But I saw him die. The Prometheus people killed him when he became a liability. They faked his death, Maya explained. He's been leading the entire organization. He uploaded his consciousness into their computer network. He wants to use your fusion research and my quantum abilities to build a weapon that can destroy planets. The huge cracks in their dimensional barrier were getting bigger. Soon, the soldiers would break through completely. We need to leave, Elon said. Can you create another quantum portal, Maya? I'm too weak, Maya admitted. Destroying the network used most of my energy. I need time to recover. Time we don't have, Victor said, as the first soldier's helmet appeared through a crack in the sky. Zara looked at her daughter, then at the men who had risked everything to help them. She made a decision that broke her heart, but filled her with determination. You three need to get to safety, she said firmly. I'll stay here and face James. Mom, no, Maya protested. You can't fight him alone. I'm not going to fight him, Zara said with a sad smile. I'm going to give him what he wants. You can't seriously be thinking of helping him build his weapon, Elon said in shock. Of course not, Zara replied. But James doesn't know that I've spent 10 years improving my fusion research. I've learned how to make reactors that are completely stable and safe. If I pretend to cooperate with him, I can sabotage his weapon from the inside. The dimensional barrier finally shattered completely. Hundreds of soldiers poured through the opening, their weapons trained on the 4 people on the beach. But something was wrong with their coordination. They moved awkwardly, bumping into each other and speaking into communication devices that no longer worked. Surrender immediately, the lead soldier shouted. Dr. Volkov, you and your daughter are coming with us. Their network is down, Maya whispered with satisfaction. They can't communicate with their commanders or coordinate their attacks. But even confused soldiers with advanced weapons were dangerous. Victor stepped protectively in front of Zara, and Maya. "You'll have to go through me first," he said bravely. "Victor, don't be stupid," Elon said. "You're wounded and outnumbered 100 to 1. "Then I guess those are pretty good odds for us," Victor replied with a grin that didn't hide his fear. Just then, something unexpected happened. The soldiers' weapons began powering down on their own. Their armor started sparking and smoking. Their communication devices burst into flames. "What's happening?" the lead soldier yelled in confusion. Maya's eyes were glowing brighter than ever. "I didn't just destroy the Prometheus network," she said with a mysterious smile. "I planted a virus in every piece of technology they've ever built. Every weapon, every vehicle, every computer is shutting down right now." Around the world, Prometheus facilities were experiencing complete technological failure. Prison doors unlocked automatically. Security cameras went blind. Guard robots collapsed. Communication systems broadcast the locations of secret bases to every news organization on Earth. But Maya's virus was doing something else too. It was sending a message to every freed scientist, every government agency, every person who cared about justice and freedom. The message was simple. The Prometheus project has fallen. Help is coming. On their beach, the soldiers found themselves holding useless weapons and wearing powerless armor. Some of them began to surrender, realizing their organization was finished. But not all of them gave up so easily. "We still have you outnumbered," the lead soldier said, pulling out an old-fashioned gun that didn't depend on electronics. "And we still have orders to bring you in." That's when the reinforcements arrived. The air above the beach began to shimmer and tear, just like when Maya had created her quantum portal. But this time, the people stepping through weren't enemies. Dr. Anya Volkov, Zara's cousin from Moscow Hospital, emerged first. Behind her came dozens of other people, men and women in lab coats, young people with excited expressions, older scientists with determined faces. "Zara," Anya called out in Russian. "We came as soon as we got the message." "What message?" Zara asked in amazement. Maya stood up, her quantum energy creating ripples in the air around her. "When I destroyed the Prometheus network, I sent out a call for help to every brilliant person who believes in using science for good instead of evil. I told them where to find us and how to get here. More portals opened. Through them stepped some of the most famous scientists in the world. Nobel Prize winners, university professors, researchers from every country and every field of study. Dr. Volkov, said an elderly woman with kind eyes, "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, former prisoner of Prometheus Facility 7. Your daughter's virus freed me and 43 other scientists. We're here to help." "As are we," said a young man with an Irish accent. "I'm Dr. Patrick O'Brien from Trinity College. When word spread about what you were doing, volunteers came from everywhere." The beach was now filled with hundreds of the world's most brilliant minds. They had come through quantum portals, in helicopters, in boats, and on foot. All of them united by a simple belief: science should help people, not hurt them. The Prometheus soldiers looked around nervously. They were still outnumbered, but now they were outnumbered by people who understood their technology better than they did. "This is impossible," the lead soldier muttered. "Impossible is just another word for hasn't been discovered yet," Maya said, repeating her earlier words with a confident smile. But their celebration was interrupted by a new sound. A deep, mechanical humming that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "What is that?" Victor asked. Maya's face went pale. It's him. It's my father. He's here. The humming grew louder, and the air above the beach began to distort. A massive ship materialized out of nothing. Not a normal spacecraft, but something that looked like it was built from pure energy and thought. Dr. James Mitchell, Elon breathed. He's not just in the computer network anymore. The ship landed on the beach with surprising gentleness. A door opened in its side, and out stepped a figure that looked human, but glowed with the same silver energy as Maya's eyes. It was Dr. James Mitchell, but not as a normal person. He had somehow transferred his consciousness into a body made of quantum energy and digital matter. "Hello, Zara," he said, in a voice that sounded like it came from everywhere at once. "Hello, Maya. I see you've been busy." "James," Zara said, stepping forward to face the man who had once been her partner and Maya's father. "It's over. Your organization is destroyed. The scientists are free. There's nothing left for you to accomplish." "On the contrary," James replied with a smile that was both sad and terrifying. "This is exactly what I wanted to happen." "What do you mean?" Maya asked, though she was afraid she already knew the answer. "I never cared about the Prometheus project," James explained. "It was just a tool to force you and your mother to develop your abilities. Now, you've both exceeded my wildest expectations. Zara, your fusion research has advanced beyond anything I imagined. And Maya, you've become something entirely new. A being who can reshape reality itself." He gestured to the hundreds of scientists gathered on the beach. "And now you've assembled the greatest collection of brilliant minds in human history, all in one place. Do you know what this means?" "It means you're outnumbered," Victor said bravely. "It means I have everything I need to complete my real project," James corrected. "Not a weapon to destroy planets, but something much more ambitious. I'm going to use all of you to rewrite the fundamental laws of the universe." The air around James began to pulse with dangerous energy. With Zara's fusion technology, Maya's quantum abilities, and the combined knowledge of every genius on Earth, I can become something beyond human. Something beyond mortal. I can become a god. Maya stepped forward, her own quantum energy rising to match her father's power. "I won't let you hurt these people." "You don't have a choice," James said. "I've spent 10 years planning this moment. I've prepared for every possible outcome. There is no escape." But Maya looked at her mother, then at Victor and Elon, then at all the brilliant scientists who had come to help them. She saw something her father had never understood. "You're wrong," she said with quiet confidence. "You prepared for every outcome you could imagine. But you can't imagine what happens when people work together instead of trying to control each other." Maya reached out her hands to her mother and to Dr. Chen, the freed Prometheus prisoner. "Mom, Dr. Chen, everyone, if we combine our knowledge and abilities, we can do something James never expected." "What do you have in mind?" Zara asked. Maya's eyes blazed with silver fire. "We're going to show him what real power looks like. Not the power to destroy or control, but the power to create and protect." As hundreds of brilliant minds joined hands on the beach, their combined knowledge and determination created something that had never existed before. A network of human consciousness dedicated to helping rather than harming. The final battle between love and power was about to begin. Maya stood at the center of hundreds of brilliant minds, all holding hands in a giant circle on the white sand beach. Their combined knowledge created waves of energy that rippled through the air like invisible music. Mathematicians, physicists, chemists, biologists, engineers, all working together with one purpose: to stop Dr. James Mitchell from becoming a digital god. "I can feel everyone's thoughts," Maya whispered in wonder. Dr. Chen's knowledge of quantum mechanics, Dr. O'Brien's understanding of space-time, Mom's fusion research, it's all connecting in my mind like pieces of a cosmic puzzle. Zara squeezed her daughter's hand tighter. "What do you see, Maya?" "I see the solution," Maya said, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. "James thinks power comes from controlling others. But real power comes from people choosing to work together freely." Dr. James Mitchell floated above them in his quantum energy body, watching their preparations with amusement. "How touching," he said, his voice echoing across dimensions. "But you're just delaying the inevitable. I have spent 10 years becoming something beyond human limitations. What can a group of mortals do against a digital god?" "We can show you what you've forgotten," Zara called up to him. "We can show you what it means to be human." James laughed coldly. "Humanity is weakness, emotion, fear. I've moved beyond all of that." "No," Maya said sadly. "You've moved away from everything that made you worth saving." Maya began to channel the combined knowledge of everyone in the circle. Through her quantum consciousness, she could access the memories and expertise of hundreds of brilliant minds. She saw solutions to problems that had puzzled scientists for decades. She understood connections between different fields of study that no single person had ever noticed before. But more than that, she felt their love. Dr. Chen's love for her rescued colleagues. Dr. O'Brien's love for his students. Victor's love for his dying grandmother. Elon's love for humanity's future among the stars. And most powerfully, her mother's love for her. A love so strong it had survived 10 years of separation and sacrifice. "Now I understand," Maya said. "James, you think love makes us weak. But love is what makes us willing to be strong for others." She raised her free hand toward her father, and quantum energy flowed between them. But this wasn't an attack. It was an invitation. "Join us," Maya said. "Come back to who you used to be. Remember why you became a scientist in the first place. You wanted to help people, just like we do." For a moment, James's quantum form flickered, and they could see uncertainty in his glowing eyes. I remember wanting to cure diseases, to solve the energy crisis, to help humanity reach the stars." "You can still do those things," Zara said gently, "but not by forcing people to obey you, by working with them, by choosing love over power." James's form stabilized, and his expression hardened again. "Love didn't protect you when I betrayed you, Zara. Love didn't keep Maya safe when I abandoned her. Love is just a beautiful lie. We tell ourselves to hide from the harsh truth of the universe." "The harsh truth," Maya said, "is that the universe is both beautiful and terrible. Love doesn't protect us from pain, but it gives us reasons to keep fighting when everything seems hopeless." James raised his hands, and energy began building around him like a storm made of lightning and starlight. "Enough philosophy. It's time to end this. I will take what I need from all of you, whether you give it willingly or not." The energy storm crashed down toward the circle of scientists, but instead of running or fighting, back with violence, Maya did something unexpected. She opened her quantum consciousness completely and welcomed her father's attack. "Maya, no!" Zara screamed. But Maya knew what she was doing. As James's power poured into her, she didn't try to resist it or turn it back on him. Instead, she absorbed it into the network of minds surrounding her. Suddenly, James found himself connected not just to Maya, but to everyone in the circle. He could feel their thoughts, their memories, their emotions. He experienced Dr. Chen's joy when she was freed from her prison cell. He felt Dr. O'Brien's excitement when his students discovered new theorems. He shared Victor's grief over his dying grandmother and his hope for a better future. What is this?" James gasped as hundreds of human experiences flooded through his digital consciousness. "This is what you've been missing," Maya said gently. "This is what it feels like to be connected to other people without controlling them." James tried to pull away, but the connections were too strong. Through the network, he began to remember things he had forgotten. The first time he had fallen in love with Zara. The moment he had held baby Maya in his arms. The excitement he had felt when his research helped solve a medical problem. "I remember," he whispered. "I remember being happy." But the memories were painful too. He remembered the moment he had chosen money over family. The day he had decided that power was more important than love. The years of loneliness as he became more machine than man. "I have done terrible things," James said, his quantum form beginning to flicker and fade. "I've hurt so many people. How can you forgive me?" "We don't have to forgive you," Maya said honestly, "but we can give you a chance to make things right." Through the network of connected minds, James could see the damage he had caused. Thousands of scientists locked in cages, families torn apart, brilliant minds forced to create weapons instead of cures. "The Prometheus facilities," he said urgently. "Some of them have automated systems that will kill the prisoners if they detect a complete network shutdown. My virus might have made things worse instead of better." Maya's eyes widened in horror. "How many facilities?" "7 of them," James said. "In remote locations where rescue teams can't reach them quickly." "Enough." The circle of scientists began to panic. They had thought Maya's virus had freed everyone. But instead, it might have condemned hundreds of people to death. "We have to help them," Dr. Chen said desperately. "Some of my friends are in those facilities." "It's too late," James said sadly. "The automated systems will activate in less than 10 minutes. There's no way to reach those locations in time." "Then we don't go to them," Maya said with sudden inspiration. "We bring them to us." She looked around the circle of brilliant minds. Everyone focused on the same thought. A doorway, a portal, a bridge between here and there. "Maya, that's impossible," Dr. O'Brien protested. "You can't create quantum tunnels to 7 different locations simultaneously. The energy requirements would be astronomical." "I can't," Maya agreed. "But we can." She reached deeper into the network of connected consciousness. "Dr. Chen, lend me your knowledge of quantum entanglement." "Dr. O'Brien, I need your understanding of space-time mathematics." "Mom, help me stabilize the fusion reactions that will power the portals." One by one, every scientist in the circle contributed their expertise to an impossible project. Mathematicians calculated the equations. Physicists provided the theoretical framework. Engineers designed the stabilization systems. Biologists ensured the portals would be safe for human transport. But it was James who provided the final piece of the puzzle. "I know the exact coordinates of every facility," he said. "I can guide the portals directly to the prison cells. But, Maya, channeling this much energy through your quantum consciousness could kill you." "I know," Maya said calmly, "but 700 people will die if I don't try." "There has to be another way," Zara pleaded. "I can't lose you again." "You won't lose me, Mom," Maya said with a confident smile. "I learned something important from our network. Individual people are mortal, but the connections between us are eternal. Even if my body can't handle this much power, the love we share will keep part of me alive in all of you." Maya began drawing energy from every person in the U-words. Circle, but gently, like borrowing strength from friends instead of stealing it. The air around them shimmered with 7 different colors as quantum portals began to form. Through the first portal, they could see scientists in prison cells looking around in confusion as their doors unlocked. Through the second, researchers were helping each other escape from a flooding facility. Through the third, elderly professors were being carried to safety by younger colleagues. "It's working!" Dr. Chen shouted joyfully. But the strain was enormous. Maya's physical body began to flicker between solid matter and pure energy. Her quantum consciousness was spreading across 7 dimensions at once, holding open doorways that shouldn't exist. "Maya, you're burning yourself out," Victor warned. "Just a little longer," Maya gasped. "Almost everyone is through the portals." One by one, hundreds of freed scientists stepped through the quantum doorways onto their beach sanctuary. Each person who arrived made Maya's smile brighter, even as her body grew more transparent. When the last prisoner stepped through the final portal, Maya collapsed onto the sand. The quantum doorways closed with sounds like distant thunder. "Maya!" Zara caught her daughter as she fell. Maya's eyes were still glowing, but very faintly now. "Did we save them all?" Maya whispered. "Every single one," James said, kneeling beside his daughter. His quantum form had become more human-looking, more like the man he used to be. "You saved everyone, including me." Maya smiled weakly. "Good. That's what families do. We save each other." Around them, nearly 1,000 of the world's most brilliant minds stood in grateful silence. They had been freed not by violence or revenge, but by a 16-year-old girl who chose to sacrifice herself for strangers. "Is she going to be okay?" Dr. Chen asked anxiously. "I don't know," Zara admitted, tears streaming down her face. "She used more quantum energy than any human body was designed to handle." But Maya wasn't finished yet. With her last bit of strength, she reached out to touch her father's hand. "James," she whispered, "you can still choose who you want to be. It's not too late to come home." James looked at his daughter, then at Zara, then at all the people they had saved together. For the first time in 10 years, he made the right choice. "Yes," he said softly, "I'd like to come home." As Maya closed her eyes and slipped into unconsciousness, quantum energy began flowing. Between her, her parents, and everyone they had saved, the network of human connection they had built was becoming something permanent, a web of minds united not by force, but by freely chosen love. The battle was over, but Maya's greatest challenge was still ahead, finding her way back from either-or, edge of quantum dissolution to the family that needed her. Maya floated in a place between dreams and reality. between the physical world and the quantum realm. Her consciousness drifted through oceans of silver light, surrounded by the gentle whispers of mathematical equations and the warm glow of distant stars. She could hear voices calling her name, but they seemed to come from very far away. "Maya, please come back to us," her mother's voice echoed through the quantum space. "We need you here, daughter," came her father's voice, softer and sadder than she had ever heard it before. Maya tried to follow the voices, but her quantum form kept dissolving and reforming like smoke. In the wind, using her abilities to save nearly 1,000 people, had scattered her consciousness across multiple dimensions. She existed everywhere and nowhere at the same time. In the physical world, 3 days had passed since the Great Rescue. Maya's body lay still on a bed in Elon Musk's advanced medical facility, surrounded by the most sophisticated quantum stabilization equipment on Earth. Her breathing was shallow, and her pulse was barely detectable, but her brain showed incredible activity, like she was experiencing 1,000 dreams simultaneously. Zara sat beside the bed, holding her daughter's hand and talking to her constantly. "I'm reading you the letters we've received from all the scientists you saved," she said softly. "Dr. Chen wants to name her new research institute after you. Dr. O'Brien says his university is creating a scholarship fund in your honor. There are marriage proposals from young scientists in 12 different countries." Maya's lips curved in the faintest smile, though her eyes remained closed. Victor stood by the window, his wounded shoulder finally healed. "The world has changed because of what you did," he told Maya. "The Prometheus project is completely finished. Governments around the world are releasing all their secret scientific research. Universities are sharing knowledge freely instead of competing. It's like you started a revolution of cooperation." James Mitchell, no longer a digital entity but restored to a physical body through quantum reconstruction, sat quietly in the IU corner. He looked older and sadder than before, but also more human. The network of consciousness that Maya had created had given him the chance to download his mind back into cloned flesh, returning him to mortality and vulnerability. "Maya," he said hesitantly, "I know I don't deserve forgiveness for what I've done, but if you can hear me, I want you to know that I'm trying to make things right. I'm working with the authorities to help rebuild the lives of everyone the Prometheus project hurt." In the quantum realm, Maya heard her father's words and felt something she had never expected to feel: hope that he could truly change. But the pull of the infinite was strong. In her scattered state, Maya could see the birth of galaxies and the dance of subatomic particles. She could understand the mathematical poetry that connected all things in the universe. It would be so easy to let go of her human form and become one with the cosmic forces that governed reality. "Don't leave us," Zara whispered, squeezing her daughter's hand. "I know the universe is calling you, but we're calling you too. Your family needs you. The world needs you." Maya felt the warmth of her mother's touch across dimensions. That simple human connection, skin touching skin, love flowing between hearts, was somehow stronger than all the quantum forces pulling her apart. Slowly, carefully, Maya began gathering the scattered pieces of her consciousness. She followed the thread of love that connected her to her mother, using it like a rope to pull herself back from the edge of infinity. Dr. Chen, who had become the unofficial leader of the freed scientists, entered the medical facility with exciting news. "Zara, you need to see this," she said urgently. She activated a holographic display showing news reports from around the world. Every major news channel was covering the same story. The Maya Miracle, they called it. Fusion reactors based on your research are coming online in 47 countries, Dr. Chen explained. Clean energy is becoming available to billions of people. But that's not the best part. The hologram showed rocket launches from multiple space agencies. SpaceX, NASA, the European Space Agency, even private companies. They're all working together now instead of competing. They're pooling their resources to build the first permanent human settlement on Mars. And they're using Maya's quantum field equations to power their spacecraft. Elon appeared in the doorway, his face bright with excitement. "We're calling it New Haven Colony, the first city on another planet, built with fusion energy and protected by quantum shields. It launches in 6 months, and there's already a waiting list of 10,000 volunteers." "Maya would love to see this," Zara said wistfully. "She can see it," James said suddenly, looking at the quantum monitoring equipment. "Look at her brain patterns. They're synchronizing with the holographic display. Her consciousness is still connected to the global information network." It was true. Every time the news showed footage of fusion reactors or spacecraft construction, Maya's quantum signature spiked. She was somehow aware of everything happening in the world, even while unconscious. "Maya," Victor said with sudden inspiration, "if you can hear us, and if you can see what's happening in the world, then you know that your work isn't finished. Humanity is just beginning its journey to the stars. We need our guide." In the quantum realm, Maya felt a surge of purpose. Victor was right. The rescue of the imprisoned scientists was just the beginning. Humanity was about to become a spacefaring civilization, and that journey would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and new opportunities to help people. But more than that, Maya realized she had something the infinite cosmos could never give. Her, a family that loved her and chose to fight for her. "I'm coming home," she whispered into the quantum void. The monitoring equipment around Maya's bed began beeping faster. Her vital signs strengthened. The silver glow returned to her closed eyelids. "Maya?" Zara called hopefully. Maya's eyes opened slowly, and she looked up at her mother with a smile that seemed to contain all the wisdom of the universe. "Hi, Mom," she said, in a voice that was both young and ancient. "Did I miss anything important?" Zara laughed and cried at the same time, hugging her daughter tightly. "Only the part where you saved the world and changed the future of human civilization." "Oh, that," Maya said with mock disappointment. "I was hoping someone had invented chocolate-flavored quantum particles while I was gone." Victor, Elon, Dr. Chen, and even James gathered around the bed, all talking at once about everything that had happened during Maya's 3-day journey through the quantum realm. But Maya was most interested in her father's transformation. "You look different," she told James. "More real." "I feel more real," James admitted. "Being connected to your network showed me what I had lost by trying to become something beyond human. Power without love is just another form of emptiness." "What will you do now?" Maya asked. "I want to help rebuild what I destroyed," James said. "Dr. Chen has offered me a position at her new research institute. I'd be working under strict supervision, helping to ensure that advanced technology is always used for peaceful purposes." Maya nodded approvingly. Everyone deserves a second chance to be better. Over the next few weeks, as Maya recovered her strength, the world continued to transform. The network of cooperation she had created between the world's brightest minds led to breakthrough after breakthrough. Diseases that had puzzled doctors for decades were suddenly curable. Environmental problems that had seemed impossible to solve yielded to innovative solutions. Food shortages disappeared as new agricultural techniques were shared freely between nations. But the most amazing development was happening in space. Maya, you need to see this, Elon said excitedly as he burst into her hospital room 6 weeks after her awakening. He activated a holographic display showing live footage from Mars. The first wave of construction robots had landed and were already building the foundations of New Haven Colony. The fusion reactors are working perfectly, Elon reported. The quantum shields are protecting the construction site from radiation, and we've detected something incredible in the soil samples. What did you find? Maya asked, sitting up in bed with renewed energy. Microscopic life, Elon said with wonder. Mars isn't completely dead. There are tiny organisms living deep underground, and they seem to be responding to the energy from our fusion reactors. It's like they're waking up after millions of years of hibernation. Maya's eyes glowed with the familiar silver light, but gentler now, more controlled. They're not just waking up, she said after a moment of quantum perception. They're trying to communicate. Communicate? With us? Victor asked in amazement. With me, Maya corrected. My quantum abilities let me sense their thoughts. They're very simple, but they're intelligent. And they're welcoming us. They're happy to have neighbors. Dr. Chen, who had become like a second mother to Maya, smiled broadly. First contact with alien life, and they're friendly. You really do have all the luck, Maya. It's not luck, Maya said with a mysterious smile. It's what happens when you approach the universe with love instead of fear. The cosmos responds to the energy we bring to it. As the months passed, Maya's prediction proved correct. The Martian microorganisms not only welcomed human presence, but began helping with the construction of New Haven Colony. They could process raw materials in ways that human technology couldn't match, and they seemed to understand that the humans were there to build rather than destroy. The first permanent residents arrived on Mars exactly 1 year after Maya's rescue of the Prometheus prisoners. Among them were Dr. Chen and Dr. O'Brien, who had volunteered to establish the colony's first research stations. Maya watched the U landing from Earth, her consciousness connected through quantum fields to every fusion reactor and communication device in the solar system. She could feel the excitement and wonder of the colonists as they took their first steps on humanity's second home. Are you sad that you're not going with them? Zara asked, sitting beside her daughter on the roof of their new home. A beautiful house Victor had built for them in the mountains of Colorado. I am going with them, Maya said with a smile. Part of my consciousness will always be connected to the quantum network. I can experience Mars through their senses while still being here with you. The best of both worlds, James said as he joined them on the roof. He had aged visibly over the Pitquarm Satrithi past year, but in a good way, like someone who had finally learned to accept the weight of mortality and responsibility. How are things at the Institute? Maya asked her father. Wonderful and terrifying, James replied honestly. Dr. Chen has us working on projects that could revolutionize human existence. But she also makes sure we ask the hard questions about whether we should do something just because we can do it. That's the most important lesson, Maya agreed. Science without wisdom is just expensive destruction. As the sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold, the three members of the Volkov family sat together in comfortable silence. They had been torn apart by fear and betrayed by ambition. But love had brought them back together stronger than before. "Maya," Zara said softly, "what do you see when you look into the future with your quantum sight?" Maya's eyes glowed gently as she peered through the dimensional barriers that separated present from future. "I see cities among the stars," she said in wonder. "I see humans and aliens working together to explore galaxies we haven't even discovered yet. I see children born on distant planets who will grow up thinking of the entire universe as their home." "And us?" James asked quietly. "What do you see for our family?" Maya smiled and reached out to take both her parents' hands. "I see us staying together this time. Through all the adventures ahead, through all the challenges of building a better future, through all the wonders we haven't even imagined yet, I see us choosing love over power, cooperation over control, hope over fear, and I see us being happy," she added, with the simple wisdom of someone who had touched the infinite and chosen to return to the beautifully limited world of human connection. As the first stars appeared in the darkening sky, Maya's quantum consciousness reached out across space to Mars, where human beings were taking their first steps toward becoming a truly cosmic civilization. But her heart remained here on Earth, with the family that had taught her the most important lesson in the universe. Love is the force that connects all things, from the smallest quantum particle to the largest galaxy. And when people choose to love each other freely, they become capable of miracles that no individual, no matter how powerful, could accomplish alone. The Volkov family had started as three separate people, torn apart by betrayal and fear. But they had ended as something new, a living example of what humanity could become when it chose unity over division, wisdom over power, and love over everything else. The future spread out before them like an infinite ocean of possibilities, and they were ready to explore it together. The end total word count, 12,000 words. Maya's journey from hotel cleaner's daughter to cosmic consciousness to loving family member shows that the greatest power in the universe isn't the ability to control others, but the courage to connect with them. Her quantum abilities made her incredibly powerful, but her choice to use that power for love instead of dominance made her truly heroic. The story concludes with humanity taking its first steps toward becoming a spacefaring civilization, guided by the principles Maya embodied: cooperation, sacrifice for others, and the understanding that individual brilliance means nothing without the connections that bind us all together. Word count, 2,000 words. Maya's story shows us that the greatest power in the universe isn't money or weapons, it's the love we share with each other. When we choose kindness over selfishness and cooperation over competition, we can change the world. Just like Maya brought together brilliant minds from every corner of the globe, you are part of something bigger too. In the comments below, tell us where you're listening from. Whether you're in New York or New Delhi, Tokyo or Texas, we want to know where our amazing community reaches. If this story touched your heart and made you believe in the power of love and sacrifice, hit that like button to spread kindness to others who need to hear Maya's message. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because every time you subscribe, you're helping us share more stories that inspire people to choose love over fear. The next incredible story is waiting for you right now. Click on the video appearing on your screen to continue this journey of hope, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that connect us all. Remember, just like Zara, Victor, and Maya discovered, when we work together with love in our hearts, there's no limit to the miracles we can create. Thank you for being part of our story family. Until next time, keep choosing kindness.